Here from Real Talk Sports, and I'm here outside the 2011 Trumpet Awards prayer breakfast. I'm here with a manager in the Atlanta area, and I say worldwide, is a legend, Mr. Tommy Dortch in the house. Bro, thank you so much for joining us.
It's good to be here with you. My pleasure.
Well, there's a lot of people are thinking, well, Minister Simmons, what does this have to do with sports? Well, one of the things I want to talk to you about, Tommy, is each year, the 100 Black Men, which you were one of the founding presidents here in Atlanta, you guys do a huge game called the Atlanta Classic. What kind of started that idea here in Atlanta?
Well, we made a commitment under our program called Project Success, and we made a promise to 35 young people when we started our program at Archer High School that if they stayed in school, did what they had to do, and worked hard, that we would guarantee them that they could go to any college they wanted to in the world, and the 100 Black Men of Atlanta would pay for it. And so we made investments ourselves as members of the 100, but then we realized when we were getting close to their end of their sophomore year, we don't need much more money than what we can write these checks for ourselves, especially the way these young people were achieving in the classroom. And at Archer at the time, only 43% of a freshman class or 8th grade class actually graduated.
Wow, that's staggering numbers.
Our goal was we were going to graduate every one of them. Believe it or not, we graduated 98% on the first time out and went back. And the one young lady who didn't graduate, we got her back in school. We only lost one student in 4 years out of that class. But we made that promise, and so we figured we had to come up with something that was going to help us get the real numbers. And I remember, again, some of our members came in and said we should consider doing a classic, football classic. And the funny thing was, at the time, I had an organization called the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame. Just celebrated its 25th year. We had proposed a football classic, but we hadn't gotten to it.
Right.
And so some of the guys came and even talked to me and said, look, we're thinking about doing a classic. You guys doing it? We said no. So we went on, we put together 2 teams and negotiated it and started the Atlanta. First it was called the Ebony Classic.
How about that?
And Ebony, no relationship to the magazine, just what we wanted to do, Black Classic.
Absolutely.
Ebony Classic. And ironically, Linda Johnson, at the time, Linda Johnson Rice, later, came, and their lawyers had the audacity to contact us and say, you can't use the name.
Is that right?
But what they didn't realize is we had a battery of some of the baddest attorneys in the business.
Wow.
And so Richard Sinkfield and all those did the research. We even discovered, first of all, you don't even have intellectual protection property.
Trademark, sure.
Trademark protection. We could take the name of Ebony ourselves if we wanted to and put you out of business. But if we said no, black folks can't be fighting.
Exactly.
So we called them into Atlanta. We sat down with them and said, look, Ebony is not significant for us, for branding. It's the purpose. And so we negotiated a deal and said, okay, we will not use Ebony Classic, not because we can,
right,
but because we want to keep peace in the marketplace. And we made them make some concessions that they would market our game. We saw value. And so we changed it from Ebony Classic to the Atlanta Football Classic. And it's grown every year. And of course, coming up this year, we're having a little change in the flavor.
Okay.
And it's going to be a monster. We'll have Florida A&M and Southern University.
Wow.
So we'll have just as many people coming to see the battle of the bands.
Exactly.
Because Southern University's got a phenomenal band, and FAMU has their reputation. And we think that that's going to be the real, as they say, throwdown.
Could be.
And then with FAMU and Southern, for the longest had been the #1 HBCU for traveling support.
Right.
And so we've combined those, and so FAMU and Southern University have been a phenomenal piece. But sports has helped us in funding our commitment to our young people.
Absolutely.
As we went on, not only to pay 100% of the cost for that first class, we've now gone, and every year it helps us to fund our commitment and scholarships. We have a golf tournament that we do as it relates to our efforts. And then but the important thing is our members write our checks first before we ask anybody to invest in our commitment to these young people. We step up and write our checks. And so now when you look at where we are, and even now with Best Academy, but we're the partners with the single gender school here in Atlanta Public Schools, trying to find ways to generate more dollars, not for us to put in a bank account, but for us to invest in these young people.
Well, that was interesting, something that you said. Oftentimes there's a lot of talk, especially from for those who might be conservative Republicans, and we do have several of those that listen to our show. They talk a lot about the idea of pulling up from your bootstraps, and the idea of the community itself, or whoever the individual is, being the start of the vanguard. And clearly, with 100 Black Men, that's really been what it's been about, because all of you that are involved are all men who have achieved at various levels in whatever field that you're in. So it's exciting that you took the philosophy that, okay, we're going to plant the first seed, and then